Good afternoon, my dear friends, my dear students. Yesterday I took a break. Today I am back with the same newspaper, December 7. The gap will be covered by tomorrow. Thank you all for being with me. Today we shall discuss Brexit, or Britain's exit from the European Union. That is the special topic of discussion today. So we will begin. Before that, I request all of you to join our social media sites. Please give a like to our Facebook page, join our YouTube channel, and subscribe to the channel so that you will get notifications. The Hindu dated December 7. As I told you, Brexit is what we are going to discuss today. The World War II was a defining event that changed the course of history. We can say that the world before World War II and the world after World War II, the European might ended. A new power emerged in the other part of the continent, which is called the United States of America. We have to read the fall of Europe with the emergence of the United States of America. All the European colonial powers that had controlled the world politics, world trade, and even the world culture eventually shrank to remain small countries of the European continent. Listen, this is what I said. We had mighty European powers like Britain, France, Belgium, Spain, Portuguese. All these were small countries, but they were huge colonial powers controlling most part of the world. Just imagine that a small country which is smaller than even South India could control a mighty country like India. So the European might ended with the Second World War and America prospered. Sir Winston Churchill, the then British Prime Minister, sensed that something was wrong and Europe could never re-emerge unless it united. Winston Churchill, a former army officer, war reporter and the British Prime Minister, was one of the first to call the creation of the United States of Europe in the form of United States of America. Following the Second World War, as I told you, he was convinced that only a united Europe could guarantee peace in the world. So he said, "We shall fight on the beaches." It's a common title given to his speech delivered in the British House of Commons on June 4, 1940. So in this particular famous speech, he said, he exhorted the idea of United States of Europe on the lines of United States of America. We must build a kind of United States of Europe. In this way, only the wills of millions of toilers be able to regain the simple joy and hopes which make life worth living. That is what he said. Anyway, so this was just an idea which was brushed aside by many other mighty European powers. Nobody wanted to come united because the World War II had just ended. The EU and European citizenship were established with the Maastricht Treaty, which came into force in 1993. The European Union traces its origins to the European Coal and Steel Community, ECSC. European Coal and Steel Community. This was the first arrangement of its kind to form, or it's the beginning of the so-called idea of European cooperation. And European EEC, European Economic Community, this was established in 1957. and this was established in 1951. So these are the initial traces of any kind of European Union. The European Union is set up with the aim of ending the frequent and bloody wars between European neighbors. Mind you, Europe was the hotbed of both the world wars. As of 1950, the European coal and steel community begins to unite European countries economically and politically in order to secure lasting peace. But neither ECSC or EEC could become a real good force to unite European Union. In 1957, France, West Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Belgium and Luxembourg signed the EEC treaty. It is also called, they have been trying for a common market, but the European Union was yet to take birth. So listen, there are nearly 48 countries in Europe. There are 48 countries in Europe. These 48 countries, as per the Maastricht Treaty, became one single European Union or a single market. So out of 48 countries, at some point of time the maximum 28 countries were part of the European Union. Out of the total 48 or 47, I do not remember exactly, the European nations, European countries, 28 of them made European Union, in which a few countries created the Eurozone, where the euro was a common currency. So this is the total Europe, and this is the European Union, 28 countries, and a part of them were Eurozone, where there was only one single currency. So what is the position of Britain? Britain was a part of the European Union, but Britain was not a part of the Eurozone, so Britain was somewhere here. It was not a part of the Eurozone. It was a part of the European Union, but it was not a part of the Eurozone. So that was the position of Britain. And this 1995 Maastricht Treaty Association continued for a long time. All of a sudden it became a very big market, the biggest market outside the United States of America. It became the biggest market that increased the bargaining power of Europe, because it has become a 500 million people market all of a sudden. So this actually helped the European Union to improve and increase its bargaining power. But this alliance did not last for long. I shall tell you what happened. The European Parliament sits in Brussels, the capital of Belgium. Big nations like Spain, Britain, France, Germany, etc. had always a complaint with Brussels that the European Parliament was always slow to take actions. That was one of the major complaints, long term complaint. The second was the melting down of Greece, which is a Eurozone country. Listen, Greece is a Eurozone country where euro is the common currency. Greece financially failed. So when Greece financially failed, the Europe had to take a decision, either to ask Greece to go out of European Union or to help Greece financially and retain European Union. If Greece was given an unceremonious exit, then the world would have taken European Union to be an association of only good times. The Europe was reluctant to do that. What happened was that the other powerful governments of European Union started giving a bailout package for Greece and to help Greece. So this country, Greece, became financially poor, so other countries started helping. Immediately taxpayers of other countries became worried. Why should we be taxed more to help a poor country? This was their major thought and belief. So the drift has already started developing. The later more evident thing was the Arab Spring. Arab Spring, I shall tell you in detail about Arab Spring at one point of time. Arab Spring refers to the anti-governmental movements in the Arab world. Mind you, most of the Arab countries were ruled by long term kings, long time they have been ruling, or the authoritarian rulers. It all started, the revolution started in a small country called Tunisia, where the government was pulled out by people's revolution. Later on, this particular people revolution spread to the neighboring country called Libya, where Colonel Gaddafi was ruling the country for nearly 45 plus years. For 45 years he was ruling the country. So the people's revolution spread to this country, and people actually threw him out of power, and he was brutally killed. He was caught from a garbage and he was shot to death. The next in the queue was Egypt, the biggest and the most powerful country in the African world, in the Arabian world. In Egypt, Hosni Mubarak was preparing for his 7th term presidency. He was also thrown out. So the next in the queue was Syria. There was huge pressure on Syrian government. So popular revolution was trying to throw out the Azad government of Syria, but Syria was helped by both Russia and to some extent China. So in fact what happened was that in Syria 3 forces were there: the government forces, the opposition people forces, and of course the ISIS. People were, ordinary people's lives became really terrible. So what did they do? They started knocking at the doors of Europe. So there was a huge exodus of people reaching out to Europe. So when people from Syria, the huge exodus of people from Syria sought asylums, political asylums in other parts of Europe, Europe became very generous. Pope said it was a historical chance for Germany to show mercy to people. He was referring to the anti-Jewish sentiments of the 1940s. So Germany gave a lot of space to the Syrian people, and in many other countries. Countries decided to provide all supports to Syrian refugees, but local population did not like. People in Britain also decided that association with other European countries and EU was a poor bargain for Britain. So what happened was that finally Britain went for an election. In 2016, the British people went for a binary referendum. People were asked to vote either to remain or to leave. So people were given the chance to vote either to remain within European Union or to leave. By a very thin margin, the majority decided to leave European Union. So Britain formally decided to move out of European Union. In fact, Britain's exit from European Union was to complete by 2019. Then what is the crisis now? The crisis now is that should Britain move out of European Union without any deal or with a deal? What is a deal or not deal? Deal means what is going to be the future relations of Britain with European Union, that can be decided before exiting. That is called moving out with a deal. Without deal means that we can decide later. So that is the current position. Britain has not completely exited out of European Union, but Britain is planning whether to have the best deal before it leaves the European Union. Now you may further read and try to understand what is going to happen for Brexit or Britain's exit from European Union. I believe you have a I am sorry, a good idea about Brexit now. So, what is your opinion regarding that? I would like to have a few responses from you. 𝐃𝐿𝐿 says sovereign states have 44, okay. She says that Britain has got Europe has got 44 sovereign states, could be true. I know it is more than 40, it could be 44 or 48, I do not know. She says it is 44 sovereign nations are there in Europe, okay, could be true. So, have you all got an idea about the Britain's exit or Brexit? Tell me, hello, have you got an idea? Please, I would like to have a few responses. Yes, hello, a few responses are requested. You got an idea about Brexit? Okay, thank you, okay. So, I am proceeding. So, what is Brexit? Britain's exit from the European Union. What is European Union? It is the biggest trade union, a political union, okay. Now, Britain is going to stand alone, fine, thank you. So, I am proceeding. December 7 major news was this support evidence for Bharat Bandh call. There was a Bharat Bandh yesterday. Kerala was kept away because of the local elections in Kerala. Most of the political parties have pledged or joined hands with the farmers who are striking for the 13th continuous day, and they have blocked all roads to Delhi. Their demand is that all the three agri laws should be completely repealed. Government says that they are ready to come out with some changes, but farmers say sorry. So, there are tensions in Delhi. What is going to happen is what we all are looking at. Support guidance for Bharat Bandh, this is what we just said. Groom brother arrested in UP under anti-conversion law. Yes, listen, we know that in UP a law was passed through an ordinance, a law was passed, anti-conversion law was passed. This was to stop the so called marriage of Muslim men with Hindu women. Of course, it is not clearly mentioning the religions, but the intent of the law is that. That day itself in our discussions we said that it is going to create a very wrong precedence, because the Allahabad court also clearly said that we cannot enter into human relationships, that is a private matter, and how the state can make a law is always under a question. We believe that somebody will move the court challenging the constitutionality of the ordinance. So, we have to wait and see what is going to happen. The so called love jihad law, will it win the test of constitutionality or will it continue, is something what people are looking at. Culture and peace. Listen, India has recently voiced its concern in the United Nations organization. I shall read the first few sentences, you will understand. In a strong statement at the United Nations General Assembly discussing resolutions on the UN Alliance of Civilization and Culture of Peace, India criticized the world body for what it called selectivity in seeking to protect Abrahamic religions, Islam, Christianity and Judaism. Of course, to some extent this is true also. If you take the UN resolutions of all these years, there has been an intent to protect Abrahamic religions like Islam, Christianity and Judaism. But what India says is that the same kind of international protection has not been meted out to religions like Sikhism and Hinduism. Okay. India was referring to Kartarpur Gurdwara Corridor Agreement between India and Pakistan, but later on Pakistan moved out of the agreement. So, this is what said that the international community, the United Nations organization remained a mute spectator. Please read, try to understand that we have got an organization of this kind, UN organization of this kind, UN Alliance for Civilizations, UNAOC, and remain informed that India made it a point in United Nations organization that for against the overprotectionism of Abrahamic religions and no protection for religions like Hinduism and Sikhism. Okay. So, there are political connotations on these things, but please read and try to understand. The next is the second editorial, the monetary policy priority of growth over price stability is clearly fraught with risks. Listen, we have had a discussion on monetary policy and we clearly said that the topmost priority of any monetary policy initiative is to control prices. Controlling prices, this is the first objective of any monetary policy. So, but what happened was that presently the retail price inflation is above the tolerance level of 6%, it is plus 6% now. The Reserve Bank of India was given the mandate to control the prices at below 6% or maximum up to 6%. Now, it is going beyond 6%, it is more than 6%. So, the Reserve Bank of India must have done something to increase the interest rates so that demand can be minimized, so that inflation can be controlled. But what Reserve Bank of India did was that it went for an accommodative stance, meaning it did not change the interest rates northwards, rather it reduced the interest or it kept the interest rates as such. So, what we could read from the policy statement was that Reserve Bank of India at present at least is not bothered about inflationary trends in the economy, but is concerned about growth. Reserve Bank of India has to be a professional organization and should not dance to the tunes of the government or play to the gallery. Rather, it has to be a professional organization. That is what the editorial briefs. So, please, I have given you the idea about or the relationship between interest rates and price. When the prices go up, interest rates are generally increased, so that demand will be reduced and the prices can be controlled. That is the relationship, the whole relationship. I hope you have an idea. In fact, in the previous class of mine, when I discussed about monetary policy, I gave you a good idea about it. The true fiscal responsibility, another good write-up. Slashing public expenditure amid a recession is a recipe for serious economic disaster. Listen, in a few days ago's newspaper when we discussed, we said that India has already spent close to 120% of its fiscal targets. If India want to contain its fiscal deficit to 100 rupee, it has already become 120, that was its meaning. So, what is deficit? Deficit means expenditure over and above the income. So, how can we control the deficits? To control the deficits, we have to either increase the income or decrease the expenditure or do both. Income has to go up, expenditure has to come down, or we have to do both. These are the ways by which we can control fiscal deficit. But listen, there is no way by which we can increase the income now, because already the economy is under kind of a recessive mode. We had nearly 3 months of complete lockdown, industry was not working at all. So, that is on one side. Through the other side, expenditure is going up because of COVID requirements. So, through one side income has come down, through the other side expenditure has gone up. So, what should the government do? Government is not willing for increasing public expenditure, rather government is trying to slash public expenditure. So what the article says is that the need of the hour is not to worry too much about the fiscal deficit, not to worry too much about expenditure, rather public expenditure has to go up, because the confidence of private enterprises is rock bottom. They do not have the confidence to invest during bad times. So the government has to act boldly, and government has to come and increase the public expenditure. That is the essence of this article. Government to promote Ayush exports, very important. This is going to be important even for your exam point of view. Ayurveda, Yoga, Naturopathy, Unani, Siddha and Homeopathy, that is Ayush, this Ayush program. So COVID has brought a good audience for Ayush. So Ayush export is what government is looking at. Please read, please take down. Madhya Pradesh readies to treat 1 lakh malnourished children. Madhya Pradesh government is preparing to deal with a likely surge in children suffering from severe malnutrition (SAM) by chalking out a strategy to cater to 1 lakh such children by emphasizing community led efforts to overcome shortcomings in health infrastructure. The government says, very important. They may ask like which government has come out with a program to arrest malnourishment in the state. So it is Madhya Pradesh, very important, very important. Look at the name of the program, it is going to be very important from the perspective of examination. This UK's negotiation in Brussels. What is Brussels? Brussels is the capital of the European Parliament, which is in Belgium. I have just spoken to you about Brexit. Britain is now negotiating for a good deal before they say goodbye to European Union. So please read. I know that now you have a background to read about this and understand things better. So that's it for the day. Thank you very much. I believe you have enjoyed today's episode. I shall come tomorrow again with the newspapers of December 8. Please come prepared, read very well, so we can have a better discussion tomorrow. I shall give you a few questions also during the sessions, so you should score good, very well, so that your level of confidence will go up. You might have read the newspapers, how many questions you are able to answer. If you are able to answer a good number of questions, that will improve your confidence. If you are not able to, then it gives a chance for you, it will alert you to improve your quality of reading. Anyway, we shall meet again tomorrow. Thank you very much. Goodbye. We will have another sessions, I remind you, at 3 o'clock. Bye bye. Thank you.